What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Got a much needed repair and upgrade going on today on the Miata. So recently I discovered my radiator was leaking, so I really haven't been able to drive this car too much lately. But today we're going to be fixing that. Like you saw in the title, we're going to be putting in the Cobalt Aluminum Radiator in this car. Gonna fix my leak, gonna look a lot better, and hopefully provide a little bit better cooling with a nice and thick fully aluminum core. And I kind of want to dive a little bit deeper into the cooling system in some videos to come after this video. I'm thinking about installing a water temp gauge just to keep an eye on temperatures, as I've always been a little suspect of the cooling system in this car. And in addition to that, I kind of want to do some testing and comparisons and see if you really do need a coolant reroute on the NA Miata. It's a really highly debated topic. A lot of people think you need it, some people think you don't. I kind of want to dive into that and do some testing and see what I can find out. So right now I currently do not have any reroute, stock cooling system. Today we're just going to be adding the radiator and going from there. So one last thing before we get started, gotta give a huge shout out to Moss Miata, of course. As many of you know that have been watching the channel, Moss has been a proud sponsor of the channel for a while now, and it has been really great to work with Moss. They come out to meets and shows and are very involved with the community with projects like the Miata calendar and the Miata Motoring magazine. In addition to that, they recently just revamped their website, so if you need anything for your Miata, Moss Miata is definitely the place to go. Anything from replacement parts, maintenance parts, to upgrades. So once again, thank you, Moss, and let's go ahead and jump into the car and get this thing running again. Alright, for anyone who's never replaced their radiator before, this should be pretty straightforward. We're just gonna first get underneath the car and drain out all the coolant from the bottom of the radiator. There'll be a little drain thing we can undo, and then it's really just disconnecting the upper and lower radiator hoses from the radiator, and then there's going to be a couple of bolts on each side and we should be able to just lift it up and out. Well, it looks like the drain on the bottom of my radiator is a little stripped out, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull off the under tray, which we'll need to do anyways to get to the lower radiator hose, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull the lower radiator hose off, and it'll drain that coolant a lot faster. But if you don't want to make a mess, you can definitely use the built-in drain on the bottom of the radiator. People will try and tell you don't need that under tray. Don't listen to them. Alright, not too bad. I've definitely made more of a mess than that before, so that was actually pretty contained. So, looks like we've got a 10mm here on each side on the bottom, so I'm going to take those loose. It also looks like there's a power steering line here that connects to a bracket that connects to the bottom of the radiator, so that's also a 10mm. Going to take that loose, then we'll move up top. Alright, these bottom side bolts are actually 8mm. Alright, a couple of 12mm bolts on each side here. Alright, let's open up this new radiator and see what we got. Alright, looks really nice. Looks like we have pretty much all the same factory mounting points. So this is going to install just like the factory one did. But first what we're going to do is I'm going to set these up on a couple of stands, this new radiator and the old one, and we're going to have to swap a couple of things over from the old radiator. So there's a couple bushings that'll go right here where it bolted up with those 12 millimeters. And then also I'm going to swap my fans over to the new radiator, and then we'll be ready to go in the car with it. Alright, radiator install is complete. All the hoses are hooked back up, everything's bolted up. Literally all we have left to do now is fill it up with some coolant. I'm gonna run antifreeze and water since it is still winter here. Once summer comes around, I might swap this out for just straight water. But yeah, the radiator looks amazing. Fits up really nice. I love how it installs exactly like the factory radiator. Even the power steering lines down at the bottom are still able to be bolted up just like they were before. So everything is solid. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some coolant in here and we'll get the car back on the ground. Alright guys, we are in good shape. Install is complete. Just finished bleeding the cooling system, got all the air out of the system, and got the cooling fans to come on. I think we finally have the cooling system pretty dialed in on this car now, from way back in the day when I had the heater core leak to now, most recently, the radiator leak. So now everything is new and replaced and solid. The radiator looks awesome, and when I was swapping parts over, I kind of compared side by side, and you can tell this Cobalt radiator definitely has a little bit of a thicker core over the stock, so that should provide some better cooling capabilities. Like I said, in a future video I might wire up a water temp gauge just so we can monitor our temps and see how well the system is performing. So if you're interested in that and some comparisons of a coolant reroute versus stock to see if there is actually a performance gain, let me know down in the comments below, if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. But for now, I'm gonna get this car washed off and probably take it for a drive, and we're gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. So thank you so much for watching. Big thank you to Moss as always for supporting the channel and providing us with this radiator so we can make a video for you guys today, as well as fix the Miata. That's gonna do it for me today. If you're new around here, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more Miata videos pretty much every single week. We try and do one video a week. Sometimes we don't get there, but we usually do. Make sure to drop a like on the video if you found this helpful. And as always, thank you for watching. Have an awesome week, and we'll see you in the next one.